Anemone was, by all accounts, a background mermaid. She didn't have Coral's dazzling, bioluminescent smile or Shelley's razor-sharp wit. Her tail, a soft, silvery lavender, was often mistaken for a trick of the light rather than a distinct feature. She spent her breaks tucked between the giant kelp fronds behind Trident High, sketching intricate patterns of sea foam and starfish in her sand slate. Her voice was so soft that even in the quietest of classes, her answers were often met with a polite, "Speak up, dear." The homecoming court was, of course, a foregone conclusion. Coral, the queen of the school, was dating Finn, the captain of the water polo team. Their coronation was as inevitable as the tide. The posters plastered on every available coral surface featured their perfect, smiling faces. Anemone didn't even look at them. She just floated a little faster past, her heart a tiny, sinking stone. The day of the vote, the school was a frenzy of excitement. The grand ceremony was to be held in the sunken amphitheater, where shafts of afternoon sunlight pierced the deep blue, creating a cathedral-like atmosphere. Anemone considered skipping. She'd promised her one friend, a perpetually cheerful seahorse named Pip, that she'd go. "It's tradition," Pip had chirped, his tiny tail curled around her finger. "And you never know, you might get a vote." Anemone had smiled wanly. She knew the tally. Coral, 150. Shelley, 120. Anemone, probably her own, and maybe Pip's if he'd figured out how to mark a ballot. She found a seat in the very highest, darkest tier of the amphitheater, hoping to blend into the shadows. The principal, a stout, serious manatee named Mr. Barlow, floated to the center stage, a conch shell in his flipper. The announcements began. King of the Deep, a title for the most academically gifted, went to a quiet octopus. Best school spirit went to the synchronized swimming team. Then, Mr. Barlow cleared his throat. "And now, for the moment you've all been waiting for. The homecoming queen." The water thrummed with anticipation. Coral, seated in the front row with Finn, preened, adjusting the pearl necklace that had been a gift from him. This year's vote, Mr. Barlow boomed, was unprecedented. "We had to do a recount." He paused, squinting at the piece of kelp parchment in his flipper. A murmur rippled through the crowd. Coral's smile tightened. "The winner, and your new homecoming queen, is Anemone." The silence was absolute. It was a vacuum, a void in the ocean where sound should have been. Anemone was sure she had misheard. She had, perhaps, finally imagined something so grand it had overwritten reality. Then, a single, sharp laugh echoed. It was Shelley. "Anemone? Who voted for Anemone?" The spell broke. Whispers erupted like bubbles, confused and disbelieving. All 200 pairs of eyes in the amphitheater began to scan the darkness, searching for her. Pip shot out from behind her ear, zipping down towards the stage, a tiny, frantic beacon. "She's up here! She's up here!" A path cleared. Anemone felt the current of their stares pushing her forward. Her heart hammered against her ribs like a trapped minnow. This had to be a prank, a cruel, elaborate joke orchestrated by Coral to humiliate her. She wanted to turn and flee, to disappear into the deep trenches where no one would ever find her. But then she saw Mr. Barlow's face. It wasn't mocking. It was genuinely perplexed, but kind. He gestured for her to come down. With a flick of her lavender tail that felt leaden, she began the long, slow descent to the stage. The whispers followed her. "Anemone, why her? I thought it was a joke when I voted." That last whisper caught her ear. "When I voted." She reached the stage, floating smaller than ever before Mr. Barlow. He held up a crown woven not from gold or jewels, but from living, glowing moon kelp, its soft light casting a gentle halo. "It seems," Mr. Barlow said, his voice carrying through the silent water, "that while some campaign with posters and promises, others campaign with quiet kindness." He turned to the student body. The vote was a write-in campaign. It started small, but it grew. It was for the mermaid who helped clean the art cave without being asked. The one who found Pearl Shrimp's lost locket in the sand and returned it. The one who always has a spare piece of parchment for someone who forgot theirs. One by one, students began to nod. A small guppy from her art class smiled shyly. Pearl Shrimp gave her a thumbs up. The entire chess club, whom she'd helped by drawing complex battle diagrams for their strategies, nodded in unison. It wasn't a prank. It was real. Mr. Barlow placed the moon kelp crown on her head. It was cool and weightless. As it touched her hair, the kelp glowed brighter, its soft light illuminating her face, her wide, astonished eyes, and her silvery lavender tail, which now shone with a pearlescent sheen she'd never seen before. She wasn't crowned for being the loudest, or the most popular, or the most dazzling. She was crowned for being kind. A slow clap started from the back of the amphitheater. Then another joined, and another, until the entire school was applauding. It wasn't the roaring, frenzied cheer they would have given Coral. It was something different, something warmer and more profound, a wave of respect that washed over her, buoying her up. Coral, to her credit, swam forward first. Her smile was strained, but it was there. "Congratulations, Anemone," she said, and for the first time, Anemone heard something other than condescension in her voice. It sounded almost like respect. As the ceremony ended and students swarmed the dance floor, Anemone remained floating in the center of the stage for a moment, the gentle light of her crown a tiny sun in the deep blue. Pip zipped around her head, chattering excitedly. Anemone, the shy, unpopular mermaid, looked out at her school. She wasn't in the background anymore, and for the first time, she didn't want to be. She smiled, a real, genuine smile that, in the glow of the moon kelp, was suddenly undeniably dazzling. The end. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.